All right, so I have the pleasure of mentoring group 7th and 8th grade males at the McNair Middle School. And in my experience there, first coming out to get to know them, one of the things that anyone would ask is, what are you going to do when you get older? The varying responses were NBA, professional basketball player, NFL, MLB, NBA, professional basketball player, basketball. One of the kids who said basketball looked at him and said, well, what are you going to do with the basketball? You're going to inflate it? He didn't seem like he would be able to meet that high level of basketball which he thought he would attain. My own personal background and story is that growing up, the images or the people that I was around led me to often believe or to see that my only option and avenue in succeeding in life within society would be a professional athlete. One thing about identity, and I will tell you that I am a Black Christian student athlete here at the University of Texas. That in itself is for multiple identities. As everyone here has multiple identities, within that, a lot of us, it's been ourselves, compete or struggle with which identity should come out as top, because one of the things that we as human beings strive and seek for is acceptance. So starting with that goal of acceptance of what our identity all requires is that oftentimes, growing up as a kid, we look to society and the things around us, the cultural influences, to say what is acceptable for me to become, what is acceptable for me to do. So for a Black male, what options does he have? So my research wanted to get at that because for all the kids that I work with at McNair Middle School, for them to say basketball, and given the images with LeBron James with different websites, it's called Ball is Life, which is basically a website that just only has 5th, 6th, 8th, 9th, 10th graders just going between the legs and dunking. Well, what is it that a kid is actually trying to decide what he wants to do in life? So this summer I had the opportunity to travel throughout the state of Texas. Went to Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Waco, Killeen, practices and tournaments, and gave the students all surveys. From those survey results, there were 3 significant relationships that I found. One being that the more that a kid attended church, is the greater he felt about the Black community and himself. Awesome, you feel good about your own ethnicity and the group that you're a part of. Contrarily, the more that a kid listens to the hip-hop and rap music, the more he perceived that society viewed Black people negatively. So if I am feeling good about myself because I'm going to church, yet I believe that society and the place that I'm going to function in doesn't look on Black people too highly, well, what are my options? What am I to do? Then the period of adolescence is the time in which we're going to explore the various identities, and again, going along with the concept of identity, is we're going to see which one's going to be accepted, which one are people going to give us thumbs up for, who's going to give us a pat on the back for the identities that we subscribe to. Thirdly, and finally, most importantly, was that within the identity, we all have an ideology. We all believe that this is the way we should act, this is the way that we should do things, based on our interpretation of what the world, society at large. And so for the students of the 50 athletes that I actually were able to get these surveys to, I found that one ideology, which is to assimilate, basically meaning that despite my differences, I'm not going to focus on that and simply do what I can to fit within the mainstream society. That ideology is strongly related with the negative affectivity or their public athletic identity. Yes, I know that's jargon, and it may be hard to understand those terms, but picture this. Growing up, either fathers or a mom who has to work multiple jobs, and oftentimes coming into contact with your race being an issue either at school or amongst other kids, what is it that I'm going to be able to do to be productive in society? If constantly I'm seeing the accolades and the highlights of athletes, professional football and basketball players, and oftentimes seeing the negative in the news and media of criminality, of any other avenues, I'm going to be more inclined to pursue basketball as my source of future aspirations. So within that, I found that among these kids, that